Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes. I've got the camera set up a little different, and I'm also in my dining room today so that I can show you how I am actually doing the sewing today, because we are going to play with the zippers that I got from BeeBeeCraft.com. And today what we're going to do is make this little storage pouch for the crafter on the go. And we're going to formulate the pattern so that it'll fit any size fabric piece that you have. And we're going to go ahead and insert an easy insert zipper. And let's get started. We're going to move this over to the side. And what I did do already is cut my fabric into a strip, almost the whole size of my zipper tape. And it is just a length that is from a fat quarter, so it's about 20 something. Let's look to see what this one is. This one is 21 and a half. Now it doesn't matter the size that you cut. We can work with anything with our formula, but for this bag, that's similar to what I have. And I did fuse some interfacing onto the back so that this cotton calico has a little bit more stability. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and zigzag the edge of these two short pieces, because that's where our zipper tape is going to go. And let's clip our threads. I'm going to pull my ironing space over, and I'm using my little travel iron, and what I'm going to do is fold over this little zigzagged edge about 1/4 of an inch. Let's see if I can get it so that you can see. There's not much pressing involved in this little case, but this particular one is important to do to make it easier for us. So go ahead and press that down, both sides. I'm guesstimating about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, now we're ready to play with the zipper. I've chosen this green one to complement this print. I'm going to change the foot on my machine to be the zipper foot. And let's go ahead and pin this a little bit. hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Let's open that up. I'm centering the zipper tape over my fabric. My fabric is a tiny bit shorter than my zipper tape. So I'm just kind of centering it. And I'm going to put one pin in, flip it over so you can see. So that's what we're doing. We're spacing it away from the zipper tape. Let's see if I can bring that up for you. A new camera setup sure is a challenge, but it's good for me, right? Get to step out of the comfort zone. Get to play with new things. And I am pinning. I like to use these long pins. They're easier for me to grab when I'm trying to remove them from the stitching. And I'm just double checking to make sure that my base fabric isn't too close to that zipper. Let's go ahead and close it and see what it does. That's going to work. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and stitch very close to the zipper tape here. And let me see if I can bring you in a little bit. It looks like we've got the shine here from the machine, but that I don't know how to get rid of. Double checking to make sure that I'm still on target. Okay, I made a few little camera adjustments, so I'm hoping that you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So I'm just going to sew along this zipper coil right here. I'm sewing just to the left of it in a straight stitch. Removing the pins as I get to them. Okay, and I want to put that needle down, lift up the presser foot, and close the zipper. And then go ahead and come all the way down. So it looks like this. I'm going to make one more stitch near the end, this side of that zipper tape, so that it stays down nicely. So we have one side. Now we're going to bring this side that's pressed over to the other, line up the top. Let's get a pin so it can hold it. And we're going to line up the bottom. And we're lining it up so that it's even across. Now we're going to go ahead and pin it along all the way down. And here in this little center of that flower, it looks like the center didn't come out. It's punched, but it's still in there. So just want to remove that. So the flower is all pretty. I'm double checking my inside to make sure my fabric isn't in the way of the zipper. And I'm good. Oh, lost my thread. Let's get that threaded again right away. And let's go ahead and stitch along this part of the zipper tape. And clip our threads. So it looks like that. Now we just need to stitch one more line here on the end so that my zipper tape doesn't fly open like that. Okay, just finishing up this seam. And we're going to clip our threads. Now we're going to move on to the sides. So let's go ahead and close that. So I'm going to move the camera just a little bit again. So you can see what I've got. Looks like I've got it a little bit snug there. Oh, it works. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and measure. So I'm going to just place this in the center. Let's push the machine back a little bit so I have room to work. And I'm going to measure from the edge to the edge. I have 10.5 inches. I'm going to grab my paper and a pencil and 10.5. I'm going to measure the bottom as well, edge to edge, and I have 10.5. Good. So now what we want to do is this 10.5, we want to multiply it by 2, and that gives us 21 inches. What I do now is determine how thick do I want my little case to be. And I'm going to go with 3 inches. So it'll be this deep. That's what I did with this one. It's 3 inches. So I need 3 inches on this side and 3 inches on this side. So that's 6. So I'm going to subtract 6 from my 21 and I come up with 15. Now what I want to do is divide 15 by 2. So that is 7.5. And I need to know that number. I lost my strips. Okay, found my strips. These are my ends that are going to be here and here. And I already have included a 1/2 inch seam allowance, which divide by 2 is 1/4. So 1/4 seam on the bottom and 1/4 seam on the top. So this piece is 3.5 inches tall. But to get it this way, I need 7.5 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 for my seam allowances. So this piece needs to measure 8 inches. So I'm going to line them up, stack them up, flip them over to this side. Grab my nice big ruler. Make some room. Determine which side is my most square. Line up just one side and bring my ruler in to be at 8 inches. Now I'm going to use my pen and draw a line. So my strip is 3.5 by 8. Now I'm going to cut this off. Using this method or formula will allow you to make a bag of any. Oops, I just dropped the microphone. We got amateur hour here, let me tell you. Okay, now one is going to be for the top, one's for the bottom. Let's set one aside. We're going to fold it in half. We're going to find the center and mark it with a pin right on that center fold, just like that. I'm going to take this and turn it inside out. Take my pin and place it in the center between the zipper, lining up with top and bottom of, or the two sides of my fabric, with my pin in the center. what I'm going to do here in each of these corners is mark 1/4 of an inch from the top and from the side and make a dot. And that will be my pivot point. And I need to do that with each corner. So hopefully I can get in here and do that without my head in the way. Last one. And then I'll bring it so that you can see what I just did. The little points here and here, it's 1/4 inch from the fabric edge on each side. This is where the needle will stop, and I'll turn it and stitch the rest. Come to that point, stop, turn, and stitch. So what I'm going to do is stitch with this side facing me, and I'm going to pin just up to this top portion. Now let me grab that machine in here so you can see what I'm doing again, I hope. Try to move it. Try to make it easy. I'm going to open this zipper up. Let's put another pin up there. Okay, let's get underneath. Oh, we need to change our foot back to our regular sewing foot. And a straight stitch. And the 1/4 inch guide on my machine is the edge of my foot, or also the edge of the feed dog hole. So that's where I'm going to guide it, because I'm making 1/4 inch seam allowances. I'm going to take that pin out of the center, my needle in the down position, remove that next pin. I'm going to back up just a little bit. There's going to be some stress on it. We're going to go ahead and sew to that point. Lift up your presser foot. Move your bottom fabric to the left, and your top fabric, see, it wants to buckle. So I'm using this to square it back up. And now we're going to sew to the next point. Keeping my edges lined up here. And the needle, whoops, down on that point, lift up the presser foot. Let me see if I can get this camera moved a little bit more. So we're lifting the top over to the right and the bottom to the left. This buckle here, that's what I am smoothing out so it's straight. Lower that presser foot, and we're going to sew to the next point. Okay, bring up my needle just a little bit. I think I overshot the point by a tad, but it's not a real big deal. We'll make it work. Okay, lift up the presser foot and swing your fabrics over again. Get rid of that buckle. Lining up our edges. Lower presser foot and sew to the next point. Stop on that point. Got it. Lift up the presser foot and one more swing of the fabrics, and we're coming in on the center here. And go ahead and stitch. And the reason I start and stop at the zipper is in case I have moved my fabric a little or got out of line. I have some movability here in the center that it can spread it apart a little or push it together. But this time it happened to work out perfectly for me, which is ideal. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. It's handmade. And I'm going to backstitch over that top. There's quite a bit of wear that comes at the joining of the zipper. And let's clip our threads. So we're going to turn it inside out so you can see what it looks like. So it's starting to look like a little bag, isn't it? It's taking shape. So now we just have one end left to do. And we have to remember to leave the zipper open halfway at least so that we can turn it right side out after we're done. So here's my other piece. Review. We're going to fold it in half, pin the center right on that fold. We're going to line it up in the center between the zippers. And I'm going to put a pin on both sides. We're going to sew again on this side. Now, I need those little points again. And why I never remember to put the points in before I start pinning, I'll never know. But we'll get it. So we're measuring a 1/4 inch and a point. One more time. And the last time. Now we're going to go ahead and sew. So let me bring that over again. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to start in the center. I'm removing that center pin. Get the needle in. Back up a little bit. And we're going to sew to this point. Remove that pin. And reverse over our stress. And come back again. Clip our threads. And here we have our second end. Let's turn it inside, or outside out, inside in. Let's move the machine. Here we have our little bag. So I do like to do a little bit of pressing on that to get our ends nice. So let me push that machine out of the way and try to bring the iron in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just finger rolling for the edge. And then I'm going to bring in the little iron and just go ahead and press. Let's do that to the sides. And the last little edge on the one end. And let's go for it on the other side. It just gives it a little bit more of a finished look. And then we can see the shape more defined. The best thing about this fun little bag using the BeeBeeCraft fun zippers is it's washable, because I used washable fabrics. Now the last little section is the top. So here we have our fun little bag. One more pressing idea I like to do is to take from this point to this point and pull, and I have a line so I can press that edge in. And let's do that for this part also. Pull. Other side. So now we have our square little bag. Isn't that cute? So I have two of them now. This one's done with a really pretty moire taffeta fabric. And this one is with the cotton calico with a interfacing inside. And what I'm going to do is give one of them away to one of you. If you've stayed with me this far, I would like you to comment stating what would you do with one of the BeeBeeCraft pretty lace zippers. So let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and have a creative day.